Hey, amigos. Welcome back. Welcome back to the show with no name. This is part 2 coming at you. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Come on in, folks. We've got an amazing show up ahead. We're just getting warmed up. Estamos calentando motores. We're just getting warmed up. Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome back to part 2. I can't believe how fast part 1 went by. Seriously, I literally blinked, guiñé los ojos, and before I knew it, I had to hit the jingles. And I think before we had a little problem in the live stream, it might be fixed. We're going to test it right now because we know it's working when we hear the jingle, the magical jingle. So I don't know if you guys heard that magical jingle, but hopefully you did. And if not, it doesn't matter. Remember, even if we take out all the jingles, or lo que llamamos en inglés, the bells and whistles, one thing remains the same. The class, the lesson, me giving you the information, you doing it aloud. That won't change. But folks, we've got so much to do. And thank God I fixed the little technical problem because we wouldn't have been able to do Say What? Say what? What? That's right, amigos. That's right. It is the Say What soundbite only on the show with no name. And folks, we are back here. Now, I think this is going to be a really easy one. And the good news is what? The good news is we are back, baby, and we are excited about this evening or afternoon, as you guys say in Spain. All right, well, let's get into today's Say What soundbite. I'm going to play this soundbite for you 75 times. Nope, just making sure you're paying attention. 4 times, and 1 time when we reveal all the information and go over it. So pay close attention, grab your pens, your pencils, whatever you want to write with, and jot this down.
Anyway, they asked me to be a guest lecturer. I mean, it's temporary, but if they like me, it could lead to a full-time job. How great would that look on the mailbox, huh? Professor Geller.
There you go, folks. There you go. That's the first listen. As I said, we've had harder ones. Okay, we've probably had easier ones as well, but I think that one was quite easy. All right, we'll see. I'll play it for you a second time. Here it is, folks. It's the Say What soundbite for the second time. Jot this down.
Anyway, they asked me to be a guest lecturer. I mean, it's temporary, but if they like me, it could lead to a full-time job. How great would that look on the mailbox, huh? Professor Geller.
All right, folks, there you go. There you go. Also, I know a lot of you answered the pop quiz, so let me give you all a nice round of applause there. Great job. Yeah, many people got it right. Awesome. So it was no volverá a cambiar de opinión. He won't change his mind again. There you go, folks. We don't say to change your opinion. I mean, you know what? It would be understood, but it's not something we would say, at least not where I grew up. I've never heard people use it that way. I changed my opinion. We would say the very common collocation, I changed my mind. So, no volverá. He won't change his mind again was the answer. And as I said, many of you got it. So great job. Great job. All right, my amigos. What did you get over there in today's Say What soundbite? Let's go over to our chat room and see what our amigos have to say. It's great to have you all on board, by the way. Morning, Monse. She says, morning, guys. What's up, Monse? All right. Jennifer Yanko says, I heard it. What, the sound? Or you heard the light? Oh, yeah. Great news. Frankie Rueda says, sorry, Alberto, is going to be a Twitch in the short term. I don't get what you mean, Frankie. Sorry. Is going to be a Twitch in the short term. I know the words. I just don't get them all together. All right, let's see. We've got Vero saying, morning, beautiful people. What happened during part 1? I hope everything is solved now. Well, Vero, doesn't matter what happened, as long as it's working now. Well, hey, I don't know. Sometimes just restarting stuff, reiniciando las cosas, it works. So it's that simple sometimes. I couldn't give you a technical explanation. I just know that anytime I have technical problems, which is quite often. I mean, I do work with technology and we're not friends. No somos amigos. Born to Iron Man says, you nailed it, Jason. Let's see, Jason. Oh, Jason was the one who got the pop quiz. Thank you, Born to Iron Man. I love it. Jay calls you Tony Stark. All right. Let's see. We've got Monse participating in the Say What soundbite. And she says, I heard a guy explaining to his friends, and she puts friends in air quotes, right? In parentheses. I heard a guy explaining to his friends that the university offered him to be a lecturer, and he was over the moon. Absolutely. Nice job, Monse. Off to a wonderful start. All right. Frankie says, I mean, are you thinking about doing or thinking about, are you thinking about a Twitch channel for you and the show with no name? Well, you know what, Frankie, I think I have Twitch, to be honest. I don't think I've used it, though. Now, I can do it because I have streaming software. So right now we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, and we can be on Twitch, too. I just have to set it up. But yeah, you know what? The reason I chose YouTube as like the primary one is because I think everybody has YouTube. A lot of people I know have Twitch. A lot of people have Instagram. Not too many have Facebook these days. Well, you know what I mean. No young people are signing up for Facebook. This is why Mark Zuckerberg is trying to change his brand name, right? So yes, thank you for the suggestion. And it's already on the table. O sea, lo estamos considerando. Buenísima expresión ahí. Antonio says, good morning, all. What's up, Antonio? What's up? Leonardo, there he is. You better come tonight. No excuses. I know you got a family shindig. I'm joking, dude. Hey, needs must. Las necesidades, las obligaciones son las obligaciones, right? All right, let's see what Leo has to say. He says, I think I heard a clip from a movie where a teacher was tired of being always invited to lecture, and now he is happy being a full-time teacher. El of de sobra. He's not happy of, he's happy being a full-time teacher. Oh, interesting. So we've got, he's over the moon, and he was kind of sick of it. Está un poco harto. Interesting. Let's see. Vero says, it sounds like a sitcom piece, like a scene, right? The man is giving his first lecture, and he's thankful about it. Great. Another word we use for thankful is grateful, right? I'm grateful for all of you guys. I'm thankful for all of you guys. Hey, by the way, nobody's saying anything about that hip hop beat. Boom, bat, bat, boom, bat. Hey, I think it defines me a little bit and gives us a little bit of, a little flow when we're reading the comments in our virtual classroom. There's ESD with his positivity. See? ¿Ves lo que me provoca? The beat eggs me on a little bit. Me incita. Me excita. Oh, yeah. Oh, you want to get me excited in todos los sentidos. Give me a good beat. And let's see. ESD says, hello, classmates and teacher. I hope we have a great day. There's Alvaro quoting Eminem. Guess who's back? Back again. And Monse chimes in, tell a friend. You guys, I mean, seriously, we're writing a rap together. Shady's back. I'm serious. Are you guys like literally going to write Eminem lyrics? You'll get me going. ¿Quieres motivar? You want to really get me going? There you go. Let's see. Laura, there she is. Laura, we missed you. We missed you terribly. I think I can speak on behalf of all of us. She says, good morning, wonderful show with no namers. What's up, Laura? She says, I'm thrilled to be back. I heard a man who sounded very happy because a temporary job he has been offered as a lecturer, tough word to pronounce. Pronounce it with me, please. A lecturer could lead to a full-time one. Uno de jornada completa. Great. Yeah. It's almost like a bridge, un puente, right? Excellent, excellent observation. Jay Lima says, I heard a guy. Sounds to me like Seinfeld. Good guess, but no. That was invited to be a lecturer guest. And he's expressing his happiness to his buddies. Remember, we would say, buenísima palabra, a guest lecturer. O sea, alguien que da una charla, invitado, a guest lecturer. Speaking of, my buddy Alvaro, he's a guest lecturer all over the world. Sorry, Alvaro. It's true, though. It's Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada. All right, I'll stop with the bad jokes, my amigos. Excellent job. Really wonderful job, as always. And you know what? I love reading your comments because when I read your comments, I feel like I'm reading comments written by native speakers. So that doesn't escape me, folks. Keep up the great work. But let's not celebrate too much because we've got a lot of challenges up ahead. And right now it's time for today's Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. That's right, folks. That's right. It is our Spelling Bee. Don't get stung by our Spelling Bee. Don't get stung. Que no te pique. And I want to send a special shout out. Man, talk about dedication. Talk about hard work. It's absolutely awesome. Loli Lopez Vizcaíno, who says, good morning from Venezuela. Wow, that is awesome, Loli. Thank you, thank you, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for waking up with us. But you know what they say, Loli? The early bird gets the worm. El que madruga, Dios le ayuda. So, Loli, I have a feeling that you are on the ball. It is muy espabilada. Thank you for being here with us. And I know you're in a totally different time zone, and your country, Venezuela, is, I don't know if it's your country or if you just live there, but it's on my bucket list of places I'd love to visit. So if you have an extra spot for me, I'm joking. My parents always said, don't impose. No hay to impose to say, can I have dinner at your house? Es que yo no tenía problema con eso. As a child, I'd be like, I'm having dinner at your house if that's cool. Cuando me decían lo que iba a hacer su madre, su padre para cenar, I'm like, Mom, I'm having dinner at Brian's. They're making lasagna. Hey, that's what happens, you know, if you can get away with it. Si puedes salir de rositas, I think you say in Spanish. All right, here's today's spelling bee. Now, this first round over here is reserved exclusively for super students. The second round is for the rest of us. Y yo me incluyo in the rest of us, no? Los demás. So, guys, here it is, round one. Oh, and let me warn you. There are dashes, hay diferentes, hay puntos, esto no tiene números, tiene letras. O sea, this is going to be a really challenging one. Okay? But don't worry. Get as much as you can the first time. And the second time, just get whatever you can. And if you could, I mean, the second time will be a lot easier because I'm going to do it at a normal speed. But this is for Born to Iron Man and such. Y tal, los que sois como él. You know who you are. All right, this is round one. The first one is L-133 space STARJET. The second one is SAUNDERS dash ROE space SR period 177. Oh, I warned you. The next one is WS-125. The next one is LOCKHEED space L-2000. The next one is BOEING space 2707. And the last word in today's spelling bee is SPRUCE space GOOSE. I'm out of breath. I don't know about you guys. Well, you didn't say them. But whoa, that was really fast. And you know what? As always, I'll give you guys a little clue. I like to give you clues whenever possible. Oh, maybe I don't have that clue here. I think, oh yeah, here it is. All right, here's your clue. All right. So, I guessed it must have something to do with planes, with aviation, or something like that, right? All right. Anybody? That was, as I said, this is like brutally tough. Brutalmente difícil. But that's why you're going to get round two. So even if you got a few numbers, si solo pillaste los números, that's something, right? Let's take a look. We've got our buddy Born to Iron Man, and Born to Iron Man is going to take a stab at it. Lo va a intentar. And let's see, the first one. Nope. First mistake in the first one. So back to the drawing board, como se dice. Volvemos de cero. Back to the drawing board is where an architect draws their plans, right? For a building or something. So tienes que volver a diseñarlo desde cero. Let's go with the second round of today's spelling bee. The first word is L-133 space STARJET. Okay, this is as fair as it gets. Okay, the next word is SAUNDERS dash ROE dot or period. It's weird that they would put that there, but it's there. Dot or period. Acepto cualquiera. 177. The third word number combination is WS-125. This is like a tracking number if you think about it. The fourth one is LOCKHEED space L-2000. The fifth one is BOEING space 2707. And the last one is SPR UCE space GOOSE. Okay, let's see. We've got our buddy Born to Iron Man coming back at it. All right. Okay, I should have clarified there's no comma, but that's not your fault, Born to Iron Man, because you wrote 2000 like a number, pero era 2000, but that's okay. Yo no lo clarifiqué, so eso no has podido saberlo, right? So let's see the rest here. It looks pretty right to me. Folks, please give it up for your classmate, Born to Iron Man. Wow. Impressive. What can I say? Okay, even the first one was impressive, but you know what we're looking here. What we're looking for here. Ves? Even myself, I got to go back and correct myself sometimes. We're looking for perfection, especially if we're talking about today's topic, which is planes that never took off. Do you get the pun? ¿Pillas el juego de palabras? Planes that never took off. Aviones que nunca despegaron o aviones que nunca tuvieron éxito. It means the same thing, right? If something didn't take off, it never got popular. But also, if a plane literally didn't take off, no despegó, right? So the reason I chose this is because today in 1947, Howard Hughes, I'm sure you guys have heard that name before. Howard Hughes, how could I put it? Leonardo DiCaprio. Well, if you saw the movie, he was in that movie, The Aviator, right? Well, he was a multi-billionaire, philanthropist, businessman, a magnate, you could say as well. And today, his plane, which is a famous plane of his, it's in the movie, the Hughes H-4 Hercules. And that's interesting because there we can learn how to pronounce Hercules. You say Hercules, we say Hercules in English, right? So now the name had a different name. The plane had a different name. So it was technically known as the Hughes H-4 Hercules, but everybody called it the sixth name on our list, and that is the Spruce Goose, okay? And spruce is a kind of wood. Picea or piquea? How do you say it? Picea, picea. I don't even know how to pronounce that word. It's a kind of wood, okay? And so they called it the Spruce Goose, and a goose es un ganso. And unfortunately, that was its maiden flight. Maiden, like Iron Maiden. Maiden en este caso es primero, de inauguración. It was the maiden flight of the Spruce Goose. Again, that was today in the year 1947. And what made this maiden flight so interesting? It was the maiden flight and the last flight. So, that normally doesn't happen. Normally either it comes out or it doesn't. The other ones on our list, those never, ever were put into production. And they never flew. A lot of them, you got to remember, one of the podcasts I listen to, the aviation podcasts, he says, we're in the age of high-tech mock-ups. And a mock-up es como un modelo. O sea, vivimos en la edad de modelos súper de alta tecnología, but then you don't see that plane ever. Like, so many, new oxygen plane. There's a lot of that now. So the thing is, what actually gets made? And there's so much that goes into approving a kind of plane. Well, first, the budget must be incredible. And this was a floating plane, so it could land on water. And it had 8 engines, if I'm not mistaken. Well, they're not engines like they have now. These were propeller engines. I think you say hélice. And it's a great word because what does the propeller do? The propeller propels the plane forward. And to propel is propulsar, impulsar, right? Totally makes sense if you think about it. So it flew once, and it was the largest fixed wing aircraft ever built. And here, I'll tell you what, I'm going to leave you guys with a quick trivia question before we go to our commercial break. And here it is. What is the largest flying currently, que tiene que estar volando, commercial airliner in the world right now? Okay. What is the largest flying current commercial de personas airliner in the world? We'll take a look at the answer to that and much more in the second half of today's show. We'll be right back, so stick around. And action. The show with no name is sponsored by Kinepolis. And action. The show with no name is sponsored by Kinepolis. Hey amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to the show with no name on Vaughn Radio. That's right, folks. If you're tuned into our live stream, you'll see I've got my Alberto Alonso approved mug. Una taza. It's got my face, my mug. Ahí tenéis el double trouble. My mug on a mug. Alberto Alonso approved. And this one, I've got a whole collection here. English is my cup of tea. El inglés es lo mío. Where can you get these mugs? Nowhere yet. Right now, I'm just, passing them around the family. Some friends, some students I've had for a long time. But stay tuned if you guys are interested. Hey, I always thought, who doesn't need a coffee mug? You can always get another coffee mug. I drink a lot of coffee and tea myself. And if it's got a positive message on there, why not, amigos? All right, well, we have so much to do in today's second half of the show. Let's get right back into it with today's homophones.
Homophones, homophones on the show with no name. It's homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. Cause homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. The show with no name. The show with no name.
That's right, amigos. And we've got a winner to our, well, that wasn't really a trivia question. It was an aviation question. But our buddy Born to Iron Man, there's no question that he won't try and answer. He got it. He says the Airbus A380 is the world's largest passenger airliner. That's right. You know the one, the double-decker con las dos plantas, right? Before that, it was the 747, el jumbo, you say, the jumbo jet, el que tiene la nariz grande nada más, right? The two biggest ones are the 747, which has been around since the 70s, o sea, para que veas lo que dura este avión. But that one only has a bump on the nose. It's very, I mean, when you see it, you're like, I know that plane. And this one, the A380, which is Airbus, it's Europe's answer, la respuesta europea a el 747 Jumbo. And they made the whole thing 2 levels. And they're both awesome planes. I've been on both of them, and nice job. Born to Iron Man. Is there any topic that you're not good at? Because I can throw anything at you, you know, science. I wish you were coming to the trivia tonight, man. He would, guys, Born to Iron Man would be a good guy to have on your team. I can guarantee that. All right, well, we have so much to do. Let's take a look at our homophones. The first word is my grandmother's name, my late, God rest her soul, my late grandmother's name. It means gracia, elegancia, la merced de Dios, esa gracia también. It's also la bendición de la mesa. It's excelencia, su excelencia, okay? It's also adornar, and it's honrar. So let's be honest here. My grandmother's name has so much meaning, okay? That's the first word I want you guys to give me. Now, the second word I want you to give me is what animals do when they eat. So in Spanish, it's pastar, okay? It also means to scrape yourself. A lot of times they'll say, the bullet, la bala le pasó por encima, como raspar, rozar, rasguñar. Okay, that's the second word. A ver si tiene más usos que puedo. No, I think those are kind of the most common uses of those words. And again, we're going to take a look at those words in context right now. But first, I want to know what they are, and I want to know if they sound exactly the same or not. And in the meantime, you know what we need to do? We need to listen to our Say What soundbite for the third time. Please write down what you hear.
Anyway, they asked me to be a guest lecturer. I mean, it's temporary, but if they like me, it could lead to a full-time job. How great would that look on the mailbox, huh? Professor Geller.
There you go, folks. There you go. Some of you might recognize the name, but remember, that's not the most important part. That's not the key here. What we're looking for, more importantly, is what's being said. And if you can jot it all down, well, you are doing a great job. Now, I got to warn you, the last couple days, Laura hasn't been here, so it was easy. No, it wasn't. It was never easy. It's never easy, but Laura's usually pretty fast over there. Okay, let's take a look and see what you guys came up with the homophone section. The first word, the first person to participate is Germán, And German, let's see what German has to say. He says, and are not homophones. All right, let's see if your classmates agree with you. Jay Lima says they are homophones. Ooh, interesting. Laura says they don't sound alike. Vero agrees. ESD agrees. Born to Iron Man. Lupus, oh, wait. A lot of you guys are saying that the words don't sound the same. All right. Antonio says he thinks they're homophones. Wow. Okay. Born to Iron Man says they aren't. Okay. So guys, here's what I would say. If I had to do the math, calcularlo yo, I would say that 75-25. 75% of you are saying right now that these words don't sound alike. Whereas, es dos palabras juntas, whereas 25% of you or so are saying that they are homophones. Well, there's just one way to solve this here, and it's quite simple how we'll do it. I'll say the words. Now, the first word is grace. Grace. My grandmother's name was Grace. It's a very common name. My aunt's name is Grace as well. She's named after my grandma, Grace, right? So Grace, it's a female given name, as I just said, very common name in the United States, at least, right? Then it's elegance. Oh man, did you see that dancer? She moved with such grace. ¿Viste esa bailarina? Se movió con tanta elegancia. She was graceful, right? Graceful means your movements are smooth and this kind of gracia. And then you've got God's grace, right? La gracia o merced, God's mercy, God's grace. So in the religion, obviously it's a word that comes from a religious, but also if somebody says to you, say grace, don't just say grace, because that's not what they're saying. That's right. If somebody says to you, say grace, you have to say, Lord, you got to pray, you put your head down and you say, Lord, thank you for this meal we're about to receive. Yeah. Eso es to say grace, es bendecir la mesa. So just remember this. My grandma Grace never said grace. Why? That was my grandpa's job. It's not that she didn't want to, but that was my grandpa. My grandpa always said grace. Siempre bendició la comida. Also, your grace, your excellency. It's another way of saying your excellency, your grace. I say it to my daughter a lot of times, joking around. I'm like, your highness, your excellency, your grace, your majesty. Well, that's the way she acts. Also, to grace the stage. A lot of times we use this. I've used it on my podcast before. But let's say, for example, we're talking about Carnegie Hall in New York City. So many famous people have graced that stage. That means they have honored that place with their presence. Honrar, you say in Spanish. So the Beatles graced this stage. As you can see, it's a regular verb. It ends with ed. So that's just the first word, grace. Say it with me, grace. Grace Anatomy? No, that's not it, right? Because that's Grey's Anatomy. So it doesn't sound the same as that. There's a show called Grey's Anatomy, but that doesn't sound like Grace, because Grace is an S sound and Grey's Anatomy, like the color gray with an apostrophe, that sounds like a Z sound. And the second word, pastar, well, that sounds exactly like the other word I just said. That's right, graze. So it's not about the black and white, it's about the graze. And the animals will graze all afternoon if you let them. So we found a homophone, but the two initial words I gave you guys were not homophones. So congratulations if you said that the word grace and graze do not sound the same. Okay? Sin embargo, grises sí que suena como la segunda. All right, so that's a tough one over there. But great job to you those of you who were not fooled, que no os engañé. I wasn't able to pull the wool over your eyes. Do you know this es una expresión? No pude poner la lana sobre tus ojos. No te pude engañar. You can't pull the wool over my eyes. No way, Jose. And these are the kind of expressions you would learn in a movie, per se. Name that movie. That's right, amigos. It's Name That Movie only on the show with no name. And guys, we have got a winner, somebody who nailed today's Say What soundbite. No surprise here. Please give it up for Laura. Awesome job, Laura. And don't forget, guys, you'll have another chance, otra oportunidad, to figure that out. But right now, it's time for today's Name That Movie. Let's take a look at what I've got in store for you. Por venir. Let's see. Can I give you the trailer? Yes, I can give you the trailer without giving away the movie. All right, so let me get some sound effects going. Okay, that's better. At a U.S. Army base in 1941 Hawaii, a private is cruelly punished for not boxing on his unit's team, while his commanding officer's wife and top aide begin a tentative affair. Whoa! Whoa. That's what I call drama there. Holy cow. Como decimos, vaca sagrada. Whoa. Okay, so at a U.S. Army es Ejército base in 1941 Hawaii. You say Hawaii, we say Hawaii. Extendemos la I al final. A private, and let me see if I can remember this one. A private is soldado raso. Is that the word that you guys use? Let me check it out. Private, soldado, see, something's sticking in this head. A private is cruelmente punished for not boxing on his unit's team. Por no boxear en el equipo de su unidad, right? His military unit. While his commanding officer's wife, o sea, su superior, his commanding officer's wife and top aide, and the word aide, well, aide, there's another homophone for you. The word aide, A-I-D, is ayuda, right? A-I-D, right? First aid, primeros auxilios. But aide, A-I-D-E, is an assistant, auxiliar, un asistente. So I'll go back now that we know. And top aide, con E al final, aide, begin a tentative affair. And an affair is un asunto. And the word tentative, tentativo, provisional, right? Indefinido, I think you would say. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner. Now, I was expecting our buddy Chris Valrol to get it. Why? Because she usually is our movie buff. But I happen to know, da la casualidad, that she's on her way to Madrid for tonight's trivia night. So her buddy is picking up the slack. Está cogiendo su parte. Let's give it up for your friend Born to Iron Man. The movie is From Here to Eternity. From Here to Eternity. Also, Jay Lima got it as well. This is a film starring Burt Lancaster. I love, you say in Spanish, la cagaste, Burt Lancaster. I think it's one of the most hysterical expressions I've ever heard in my life. Now, there's a classic scene. I'm sure you guys, even if you've never seen this movie, there's a scene where Burt Lancaster and Deborah Kerr are they're making out, enrollándose, on the beach. They're right on the shore in La Orilla. And the waves are running, the waves are rolling up over them, right? The water's running over them. It's a very famous scene, and it was parodied or spoofed in Airplane. ¿Os acordáis de Aterriza como puedas? Hay una escena, se están besando en la playa, they're kissing on the beach, and they're full of seaweed. Well, that was kind of a wink, un guiño, to this famous scene. And that was not supposed to take place there. That's right. It wasn't. It was a last-minute inspiration from the director, Fred Zinnemann. So one of the most famous scenes in history wasn't even supposed to be there. So there's a lesson. The lesson there is be open-minded because you never know. Now, Frank Sinatra was also in this movie. And the director said to him, he goes, Fred Zinnemann, he goes, I want you to do it this way. And you know what Frank said? He goes, I'll do it my way. Sorry. I couldn't help it. We have an expression in English. It's my way or the highway. O lo haces a mi manera o a la carretera. It rhymes in Spanish too. And Frank Sinatra, he was going through a lot of problems, believe it or not, during this movie. He was married to Ava Gardner, Hollywood starlet Ava Gardner, and they started having problems. They went through a divorce, and that weighed heavily on him. Le pesó mucho, we say same as you. It weighed heavily on him. And it got so bad, he sunk into a very dark, deep depression. Just so, you know, a lot of times we get sad and we think, oh man, I'm alone. Frank Sinatra, okay, has been saying, is it worth it? So believe me, even like famous people, we all go through it, you know? And Montgomery Clift, another famous actor from Hollywood's heyday, El Apogeo, he said that Frank came up to him and said, I'm going to kill myself, man. Me voy a suicidar. I'm going to commit suicide. And thank God Montgomery Clift and other people were there and they just listened to him, you know. Sometimes people just need to be listened to. But very interesting. The movie itself is interesting, but at the same time, the story behind it. And there's an urban legend, an urban myth regarding the casting of Frank Sinatra. And the myth is that the mafia made Columbia Pictures an offer they can't refuse. You catch my drift, okay? What is it? What's an offer they can't refuse is you do it como acabo de decir, my way or the highway. And the highway in this case is death, right? We know you don't play with the mafia. But this was fictionalized. I'm sure a lot of you recognize it from The Godfather, the first one, 1972. And they said that the real reason he was cast in the movie was not because of mafia influence, although we all know what crowd he ran with. Okay, that's not an Italian-American in the tri-state area with a lot of influence. Even if you don't approach the mob, la mafia, they're going to approach you, right? You're going to be their influencer, like they would say today. So I don't think he had much of a choice. But no. They said that it was because Ava Gardner suggested that they use Sinatra to Harry Cohn, who was the head of the studio. And at first he was reluctant, reacio. But then he said, wait, this is a good time. Because unfortunately for Frank Sinatra, he was at a low point, not just in his life, but in his career. So he did the movie. This is going to blow your mind. He did this classic movie now for $8,000. Okay, in that money back then, but what? And the good thing is, what he did was he and this is awesome. This is one of the parts here that, you know, for me was awesome. What he did in this movie is after this movie, I guess there was had something to do with this and what, he had discussed with the people, his friends, the people he was working with. He had a comeback. And I remember in the 80s, Frank Sinatra was back, and I was a very young kid, and he was selling out like Madison's. I mean, and it was beautiful because you saw a guy who was the king of the world, on top of the world. You don't think about it. The Rat Pack, Las Vegas. But then, things change, life is not unidirectional. It ebbs, it flows, right? And you lose popularity. It waxes and wanes, as we say. Otra forma de decir, it ebbs and it flows. Viene y se va. It's a pendulum in the end. But the beautiful end to this story was that Frank Sinatra had a huge comeback, and now he's seen as an icon, right? I think everybody puts him in the category of icon, right? Icono, not just singer, not just performer, but American icon, Italian-American icon. All right, so, and speaking of Burt Lancaster, I mean, there's another one in this movie. Just think of the movies. Wow, good cast there. So Alma, a Spanish name there, right? Soul. Alma says, Prue, it's true we love each other now. We need each other. But back in the States, it might be different, right? So back in the States, that's how we would say the United States. We would say America, the U.S., the States, right? And Robert E. Lee Pruitt says, that ain't the real reason. Eso no es la razón de verdad. And Alma says, you're right. It's not, she says. And Robert E. Lee says, what is the real reason? ¿Cuál es la razón de verdad? And Alma says, I won't marry you because I don't want to be the wife of a soldier. Let's pronounce that word together, please. Soldier, soldier. And then Robert E. Lee says, well, that would be about the best I could ever do for you. No, lo mejor que podrías hacer, que te podría hacer es yo ser un soldado, right? And Alma says, no, because nobody's going to stop me from my plan. Nadie me va a detener o frenar a mí con mi plan. Nobody, nothing. She's determined. She's like, I don't need you. Okay, thank you, Mr. General. I don't need you. She goes, because I want to be proper. And proper is correcto, right? En orden. If you're proper, you say please, you say thank you. You're let's look up the word. I think I said it the best way before. But to be proper, educado, correcto. That was the first word I used. So correcto. And she says, I want to be proper. I love how you call Mr. Clean Mr. Proper. I love it. And he goes, proper? Yes, proper. In another year, I'll have enough money saved, tendré lo suficiente dinero ahorrado. Then I'm going to go back to my hometown, donde nací, in Oregon. And I'm going to build a house for my mother and myself. Voy a construir una casa para mí y para mi madre. And join the country club. The country club is el club de golf, ¿no? De los pijos. And take up golf. I love this phrasal verb. To take up something is a new hobby. We use it with hobbies. I think I'm going to take up golf. I think I'm going to take up guitar. It's a great one to know. To take up also means ocupar. Think about it. It'll take up your time. It makes sense, right? So the piano takes up a lot of space. I'm thinking about taking up Italian lessons, okay? Then I'll meet the proper man with the proper position to make a proper wife and can run a proper home and raise proper children. And I'll be happy because you're proper, you're safe. And Robert says, you've got guts, agallas. You've got guts, honey. I hope you can pull that off. And to pull something off is lograr hacer algo que parece difícil. Guys, we have to go to our fourth and final commercial break. I can't believe it. We'll be back in 2 with the rest of today's show with no name. So stick around. and action. The show with no name is sponsored by Kinepolis. And action. The show with no name is sponsored by Kinepolis. Hey amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to the show with no name. Don't forget, after today's show, you got the one and only Jules. And her program is called Let's Get Random. And I hope Jules said she's going to try and make it. So hopefully Jules will be there at the trivia night. I know Fitz is coming. Kyle Miller will be there. Richard Vaughn. And so many more of your favorite Vaughn radio teachers. I hope you guys will come hang out and have some beers with us at Vaughn Radio Trivia Night. I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. Ooh, I'm about to lose control, and I think I like it. Are you guys ready for Double Trouble? Let's go.
Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is. Give it up. Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double trouble. I said double trouble.
That's right, amigos. It's Double Trouble only on the show with no name. And as always, como siempre, this is a part of the show where we're going to really test you, because you've always got translations and things that you're working on here, these little challenges, but this one's got a twist, right? It's a little bit more difficult because you've got to use the same word twice, but I know you guys can handle it. So here we go. Pavo, tontito. Now here it says pavo, okay? Tontito. Now let me explain. This is not like tontito, eres un idiota, okay? Because there's different levels. No es lo mismo decir, eres un gilipollas que eres un tontito. What, you know what I'm saying? Okay, well, this in English is tontito, like you would say to a kid, no seas tontito. Right? No seas un they translated it as a turkey. Yo no sé. Vosotros ya me decís si eso es correcto o no. A turkey. Well, maybe that's why they say la edad del pavo. I don't know. Okay, well, let me give you a clue. It has something to do with an animal in English. I'll even give you a little clue there. What do you think of that? All right, my amigos. Let's see, German. What an awesome comment. Thank you so much, German, for your kindness. German says, Antonio, I think these are the best ESL students around the world. That's why I keep learning from AA, as well as I keep learning from them. That's beautiful, German. Thank you. And Antonio agrees. Well, I'm just saying. I want my classes to be the cream of the crop. You guys know me. I don't take no bullshit. Eso es doble negación, pero lo diríamos así para darle énfasis. Sería, I don't take any bullshit. Excusas, tonterías. All right, so pavo, tengo que terminar la frase, ¿no? Pavo tontito, ¿no? Como más como lo dirías un niño, no como eres tonto, right? Again, the tone is very joking and playful. Eso se convirtió en misión imposible. Okay? Ah, tontito. You're saying to this person, oh, pavo, tú eres un pavito. Right? Eso se convirtió en misión imposible. I've just given you an audio clue as well. So hopefully that audio clue can help you guys figure it out. Okay, so I also owe you the third listen of today's Say What soundbite. And we already have Laura who figured it out. Laura, hope you'll be joining us at the trivia night tonight. It'll be a lot of fun if you're around town. I know you were in New York for a while. I hope you had a nice trip and hope you can join us. All of you. I'm speaking to all of you. And if not, check us out on YouTube. I will stream the trivia night live. That's at 8:30 Madrid time. All right, here it is. This is the Say What soundbite for the fourth time.
Anyway, they asked me to be a guest lecturer. I mean, it's temporary, but if they like me, it could lead to a full-time job. How great would that look on the mailbox, huh? Professor Geller.
All right, amigos, there it is. That is your Say What soundbite for the fourth time. Hopefully, somebody will be able to figure it out. And speaking of figuring it out, nobody has gotten today's double trouble yet. So here, yeah, lo traducen. Vamos a buscarlo otra vez, ¿ok? A ver si esto del pavo, es que yo nunca he oído lo del pavo. He oído pavo, pavote. A veces, no dices a un niño eres tonto, because that's not really conducive to, a child's, psychological development. But you can tell them when they do something que es tontito. No seas tontito, no hagas eso. It's that one. Okay. So, and guys, I gave you a clue. It says foolish or childish. Está haciendo el niño, right? It's playful. Again, there are a lot of ways to say eres un idiota. You're a moron. You're an idiot. You're a fool. Esos son ofensivos. Y más con el tono correcto, no suele serlo. All right. Anybody? Oh, no. Guys, this is not normal. Normally, somebody gets it. Even if it's not exactly the same one I've got, you guys always find a way. And you know the expression, where there's a will, there's a way. Querer es poder. Where there's a will, there's a way. That's why those of you who aren't in Madrid will be able to connect with us at the trivia night, because I said, I want you guys to be there. You guys said you wanted to be there, and we're going to make it happen. So cool. Awesome. As we say in my country, awesome. All right. So anybody? I don't want to give it away if you guys are going to get it, but I can't stay on this section too much longer. We got to keep it moving. Seguir hacia adelante. Keep it moving on. All right. Going once. Going twice. Okay, nobody got it wrong, but I had to put some kind of... Oh, here, I can do this one. Oh, sorry, guys. Oh. All right, wait. I love it. German. Hey, German, you know what? You've got a round of applause for making an effort. Well, nobody else did. So, you win. And you just made me laugh my ass off. Me estoy partiendo el culo. Little turkey. This has become a turkey. Me encanta. It's awesome. It's not right, but I love it. If it were up to me, si fuese decisión mía, una decisión. Yeah. ¿Ves? En inglés no hay que pensar, ¿es una o uno? You don't have to do that. In Spanish, you already have to like, oh, no, here we go. Sometimes I don't even remember what I was referring to at the beginning of the sentence. Ya, digo la palabra moto y luego al final digo el adjetivo. And I'm like, ¿qué era? ¿De qué estaba hablando? Él, la, no me acuerdo ni lo que era. And in English, you don't really have to. You can go on. You don't have to think, oh no, am I going into masculine territory or feminine territory here? Right? Okay. Excellent job, German. Even though you didn't get it right, we're going to give you an E for effort. Anybody else? Okay. Well, we say silly goose. I say it to my daughter all the time. Okay. And she says it to me. So, sometimes I'll pretend I'll do something to elicit no from her. I'm like, should we put some bananas on the pizza? Ponemos unos plátanos en nuestra pizza porque quiero que me diga no solo sí, pero que sepa decir, no vamos a hacer eso. ¿Qué hace? And she says, oh, Papa, you silly goose. We're not going to put bananas on the pizza, right? Silly goose. I gave you the clue before. A goose. Well, maybe not many people know what a goose sounds like. Oh, and be careful. This is an irregular plural. So it's not gooses. It's geese. It's goose, geese. Sigue el mismo patrón de pies, foot, feet, O-E. Goose, geese. So, we used to say this all the time. Parents use it with kids. You silly goose. You silly goose. It's a way of saying tontito, right? Jay Lima says, goose is ganso, not pavo. You're going to have to write to word reference because I don't think they mean pavo like the turkey. I was joking when I said that. But according to word reference, es pavo en español. No se hace un pavo. Don't be a silly goose. I don't know if it's true or not. But again, I didn't write it. It's word reference, Jay Lima. I imagine they meant it in the figurative sense. But again, I didn't write it, so I can't help you out. I'm just trying to explain it in English because I don't know how you would express it in Spanish. So no sé cómo explicarlo más claro. It's saying like, oh, come on, you're being goofy, right? So it's a funny one, and it's one that's been around for ages. Now, usually if you say it to an adult, you're saying it in jest. Estás bromeando. You're like, oh, don't be a silly goose. Don't be a silly goose, right? I would never say that to my dad, for example, who's with us right now, right? So, all right, there's Leonardo. Leonardo says, all right, now that I got the first part, I'm going to take a stab at the second part. Let's see. Leonardo says, silly goose. That turned into a wild goose chase. And look at that. You guys did it with some help. Con ayuda, right? I gave you the clue, and then somebody said goose, and then so there it is, folks. Silly goose, tontito. That turned into, se convirtió en, that turned into a wild goose chase, right? And a wild goose chase is something that seems impossible. So, you're trying to figure out, let's say you're trying to figure out a crime or something. You're a detective. And you're like, man, this guy is leading us on a wild goose chase. We don't have any clues. No tenemos ni una pista, right? This is we're trying to do something that's impossible. I imagine chasing wild geese is not easy, like catching them. You do it. I'll take your word for it. Yo no voy a perseguir gansos salvajes. You can do it. But I imagine the etymology is that. Viene de eso, ¿no? Esto es misión imposible. Tú intenta pillar el ganso que está salvaje, ¿no? Good luck. So a wild goose chase. If you look it up, it says misión imposible in Spanish. It says a pointless search, como que no sirve de nada. Yeah, it's got that connotation. Not only that it's difficult, but it's not fruitful. No está siendo fructífero. All right, so excellent job to all of you guys. Seriously, impressive. You silly goose. You silly goose. That turned into a wild goose chase. And folks, speaking of silliness, I think it's time for your joking.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, what did the guy say when he walked into the bar? Ouch. Ouch. You get it? Ouch. He walked into the bar.
You're joking. That's right, amigos. You're joking only on the show with no name. And folks, I can't believe it. We only have a few sections left, but I hope many of you will be joining us. I know so many of you have confirmed that you're going to be there, all three, friends, family, and students who are like friends and family. So I'm looking forward to seeing all of you there. Leonardo, I think I just read your comment. Let me see over here that you said you confirmed that you're going to be there. Let's see. Leonardo says, unless there's something unforeseen, vaya palabrón, imprevisto, de hecho te doy una frase hecha, barred some unforeseen circumstance, barred, a no ser que, lo mismo, unless, a no ser que, barred some unforeseen circumstance, I will be at Roll Madrid at 8:15. I hope to participate there a lot and make up for the little I was able to participate in today's show. Leo, make sure you talk to Chris, because I think there's a dream team starting to form there, ¿no? No hay un equipo de ensueño ahí formándose. Chris Valrol, Leonardo, I mean, I don't know. And then if you can get Fitz, if you can recruit Fitz, that's good. My niece and nephew are coming. By the way, if people want to bring teenagers, I've got stuff in there, that's on the news now, that's on Twitter, trending topic. So it's actual. It's going to be a current, not just current, as I said before, all age ranges. So you can bring the kids if you like. My niece and nephew are teenagers, and they had so much fun last time that they couldn't wait to come. So they're really excited, and I hope you guys are as well. Isn't that amazing? I've got teenagers excited about learning English. Well, I made it a game. It's a trivia night. It's fun. We're going to have fun. We're going to play. We're going to sing. We're going to dance. We're going to eat. We're going to drink. We're going to have fun. But we're going to practice our English with our friends, with our teachers. What a great event. And I don't know who's hosting next month, but let's start with tonight. Tonight, it's going to be an awesome time. Okay, what happened to the soldier? We looked at that word before. Soldado. What happened to the soldier who got both his arms shot off? Okay. What happened to the soldier who got both his arms shot off? O sea, ¿qué pasó con el soldado que le dispararon los dos brazos, pero que ya no están? Off significa que ya no están. Okay. Oh, simple. He simply shouldered the burden. He shouldered the burden. No. What happened to the soldier who got both of his arms shot off? He shouldered the burden. Well, do you know burden? What a burden is? A burden is like una carga, I guess you would say, maybe in Spanish. Let me look it up. A burden, una carga. Say, guys, my Spanish is not. I don't want to burden you. No quiero agobiarte. Good word to know, burden. Burden se escribe, pero se pronuncia burden. I don't want to burden you. No te quiero molestar, no te quiero fácil, Pero luego, a burden is una carga, una responsabilidad. We use the word pretty often in English. So what happened to the soldier who got both of his arms shot off? He shouldered the burden. But okay, good. We got burden. Ya sabemos que es burden. What is shoulder? Well, shoulder's hombro, a body part, shoulder. It's also arcén, the side of the road. If you have a problem with your car breaks down, you pull over to the shoulder. It's also paleta, a cut of meat. pork shoulder, for example. But to shoulder something es cargar con ello, asumirlo. Piénsalo, lo llevas en tus hombros. Kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Right? So do you get it now? He's only got shoulders. His arms were shot off. What happened to the soldier who got his arm shot off? He shouldered the burden. Oh, and Jay Lima cracking a joke. He goes, what is a soldier's least favorite month? March. Me encanta, me encanta. That's right. Well, March es desfilar, but also March es marzo. There you go, folks. But right now, we have to soldier on. Toma palabra. So we said to shoulder, well, como verbo, we already knew shoulder es hombro, es cargar con la responsabilidad, la carga, right? But to soldier on, piensa, un soldado tirando para adelante, tenemos que seguir para adelante. And those two words are not pronounced the same. Vamos a pronunciarlos. The soldier had a chip on his shoulder. And a chip on your shoulder es una expresión que significa que tienes un problema con el mundo. Wow, we looked at a lot of idiomatic expressions, and I hope it wasn't too much for you to shoulder, cargar con. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for famous birthday trivia.
Birthdays for you. Birthdays for me. Birthdays for everyone on the show with no name. Birthdays for him. Birthdays for her. Birthdays for everyone on the show with no name.
That's right, amigos. It's famous birthdays only on the show with no name. And let's see if you can figure out today's famous birthday boys and girls. We got to go fast because we have 5 minutes left. The first person was an American actor who was born in 1913. He's been in so many movies. He's a Hollywood heavyweight, and you might recognize him from The Killers with Ava Gardner. He was also in From Here to Eternity in 1953, and that was a box office smash. It was also today's Name That Movie. And you have an expression with this guy in Spanish. La cagaste. No lo puedo dejar más claro que esto. The second one is a rapper from the south of the United States, and he helps me teach phrasal verbs. He's got a song, very catchy. I'm sure you've heard it. It's getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes. Hey, not my words. Aquí se está subiendo el calor, así que quítate toda la ropita. It's a catchy song, and I know many of you have heard it. And he's got a lot of other number one songs, but if there's any song you'll know from this rapper from the south of the United States, it'll be that one. And last but not least, Ross on Friends. No puedo ser más conciso con ese. Ross on Friends. Ross Geller. All right. Anybody? Anybody know all three of them? All right, I'll give them to you because we have to move on quickly here. The first one is Burt Lancaster. The second one is rapper Nelly. I'm sure you recognize some of his songs if you heard them. And last but not least, David Schwimmer, not Swimmer, Schwimmer from Friends. And this is David Schwimmer playing the character of Ross in today's Say What soundbite. And it's interesting. I think it was maybe Jay who said it sounds like Jerry Seinfeld. They have a similar kind of sound, which I never thought of. So excellent, excellent observation. And David Schwimmer, as Ross, says, anyway, they asked me to be a guest lecturer. Me han pedido que sea un charlador, what's the word? I know there's a word for it. Uno que charla de invitado. I mean, it's temporary. Quiero decir, es temporal. But if they like me, it could lead to a full-time job. Si les caigo bien, puede llevar a una situación de trabajo, empleo, no plena jornada, sino jornada completa. Full-time versus part-time. And he goes, how great would that look on the mailbox, huh? Professor Geller. Cuán chulo quedaría eso en el buzón. Professor Geller. Here he is. You know him. You love him. It's Ross from Friends, the birthday boy, David Schwimmer.
Anyway, they asked me to be a guest lecturer. I mean, it's temporary, but if they like me, it could lead to a full-time job. How great would that look on the mailbox, huh? Professor Geller.
There we go, folks. And don't forget, there's an FYI episode on Friends. Check it out if you haven't. And my friends, it's time for Name That Lyric.
Hi, hello, Alberto. I think the song is. No? Sorry, bye.
Name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. Name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. It's name that lyric only on the show with no name.
That's right, amigos. That's right. It's Name That Lyric only on the show with no name. And folks, thank you. Thank you for being here today. I'm trying not to show it, intento que no se note, but I'm having a really, it's been a very difficult few days because of some personal issues, and I don't want to bring that into my work. So thank you for your patience with me today, because I had to work a little extra harder today, because sometimes things happen in life that are beyond us, más grande que nosotros, and it doesn't make it fun. No hace que sea algo divertido ni de que quieras hablar. So thank you. You didn't know it, but you guys were keeping me company today, and I hope you'll keep me company at the trivia night as well. And we're not going to go off with a bummer de bajón. No way. We're going to go off with Nelly's song, It's Getting Hot in Here, so take off all your clothes. I am getting so hot, I want to take my clothes off. I know it's winter in Spain, but hey, turn the heat up and take off all your clothes. Hey, do what you want. Do whatever you want. I like being naked personally, and it seems like our birthday boy Nelly does as well. So, folks, thank you so much for being here once again, and I hope you'll join us at the trivia. If not, tomorrow we'll be back with another exciting show. Is it hot in here, folks? Or is it just me? It's getting hot in here. Let's go. With a little bit of Get a little bit of with a little bit of